My name is Julian Plotnick, and I am trying to get Philadelphia a 4-day work week. Right. So, pretty popular agenda, but I guess my story is about why I am doing that. So, professionally, I am a software developer, and at my last job, I was working there during the pandemic, and in 2022, we were adjusting to a hybrid schedule. So we were coming back into the office, and everything seemed to be working pretty smoothly. We thought that management might want to get us back to office full time, but they were seeing the benefits of hybrid work. And around that time, I started seeing a lot of articles pop up about the benefits of 4-day work weeks, how companies were switching over to a 32-hour week schedule, and their productivity was staying the same or going up. And I thought, hey, I could do that. So I brought the idea to my boss, and was really surprised. Her response was she loved the idea, but we weren't ready to do it yet. So I was like, okay, that's not bad. And I waited for a while. And then in 2023, I was coming up on my 29th birthday, and I was like, hey, I'm starting to get old. I should do something. So I went to my boss, and I said, hey, how about that 4-day work week? And she said, okay. So a couple months after I turned 29, I started not working on Fridays. And it was really great. I saw all of the benefits that you would expect. For the first 6 months, I made a rule. I wasn't going to be using that time to, I wasn't going to schedule any recurring things or do anything that would really take up too much of that. I just kind of wanted to see what it was like to have more time. And that was really, really nice. I got to reconnect with a lot of my family that I hadn't talked to very much, some old friends from high school who I thought, might not be too busy to hear from me, but I had some flexibility, so I reached out, and they were all very excited to talk more. But after 6 months or so, that wasn't enough, because on Fridays, I'd be, looking for stuff to do. I'd call my friends, and they'd be like, what do you want? It's a Friday. So I was like, well, what if they could have the day off too? I tried to encourage some of them to talk to their bosses, and they were like, no, my boss would never do that, not unless everyone else did it first. But I had been going to various events in Philly tech, where all of the conversations were, how do we make Philadelphia more of a tech hub? How do we keep young people here when they graduate our schools? And I was like, hey, I actually know what might help with that, because young people really like 4-day work weeks. So I started pitching that idea to them and getting pretty positive reception. Now, as a software developer, I wasn't a big fan of actually going out and talking to people about this. So I was, looking at Reddit one day, and some reporters from the Philadelphia Inquirer were asking for people's thoughts on the return to office order from the mayor's office. I was like, I think that if they're trying to get people to return to Center City and go out and spend more money, a better way to do that might be to give them a 4-day work week so they have a longer weekend to go out and do that stuff. And they thought that was interesting enough to talk to me. And so then I went from being a very quiet software developer to suddenly being in the news advocating for an issue. And I've been trying to figure out how to continue that since then. So within my company, my former company, I had pitched the idea to the rest of them that the whole team could do a 4-day work week, not just me. So at first, I wasn't allowed to tell anyone about it. Somehow nobody noticed that I was not doing anything on Fridays. But after I got to talk to management about it and convince them that actually everyone else could probably do it too, and they all sat down and made a plan together. And so I kind of think that more places could do that. I think that with a lot of things readjusting in how work gets done, and frankly, Philly's upward momentum right now, I think that now is a good time for it, especially with the 250th coming up. That's it.